Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I'm in day 2 of probably 3 of the nicest days you could ever hope for, and I'm really trying to soak them up and enjoy them because after these 3, we will start our descent into hell. Yeah, here in lower Alabama, it gets nasty hot for about, it's not so much, I've been places that get just as hot, but it's hot here for about a good 4 or 5 solid months. By the end of the summer, it's worn you down. So anyhow, today I want to share a little raw vegan advice and a new health focus for me. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down there and hit the subscribe button now, and then maybe come back and check out some more of my content. My raw vegan advice today, and then I'll get to the second part, is just more or less kind of my public service announcement that I do from time to time. And I just like to advise people because I think there's a lot of bad advice out there. There's a lot of dogmatic stuff on the raw vegan diet. The number one thing that I always advise you to keep in mind, even though you might be brand new to this, you don't know anything about it yet, is to use your common sense. It shouldn't really take all that much complicated to feed us. I mean, that's a function that humans have had to do since the day that we came on the earth. So I've found over the years, I may not know everything, but I've never completely done something that just makes zero sense to me. So don't just like put it out there. Don't just like blindly follow. Do your own research. Do your own research. If you've been following my channel for a while, I would say I've always said question everything. Never take my word for anything, and don't take anybody out there doing YouTube videos word for it. I have been, over the past 10 years, I kind of move slow and methodically. I look at stuff, I kind of evaluate it. If it makes sense to me, I try it. And, I just kind of, like I say, I've just kind of pieced this thing together without a guru. Imagine that. So you've got to do your own research. You've got to do your own research, and in that research, do not stick to, don't just search raw vegan resources or raw resources. There's a wealth of information out there in the whole food plant-based world, whether they're advocating raw or not. And I'm not trying to steer you away from the raw. I'm just saying that you can adapt that. I've been doing it for years. People like T. Colin Campbell, Dr. Greger, How Not to Die, Fiber Fueled. I like good solid sources like that rather than just, like some anecdotal thing on YouTube. But you can take those and you can take the principles in there and apply that to your raw diet. But you've got to get that nutrition. If you're not getting the nutrition, and that's the third one I had under raw vegan advice, is you've always got to focus on that nutrition. Most of the people, and you see all these people that fail on a raw vegan diet, and then most of them actually get angry that they failed on a raw vegan diet, and they go the other way and start talking about how bad a raw vegan diet was. They never focused on nutrition. I've seen it time after time after time. Every once in a while when I see somebody bashing the lifestyle or they're not even eating vegan anymore, I'll go back and check out some of their old videos, and there was never any nutrition involved in the way they were eating. Yes, they were eating vegan, and yes, they were eating raw, but they didn't have the variety. And like I've said many times before, if you are not getting the nutrition that your body requires, you are not going to be able to sustain on this lifestyle. But on the other hand, the people that try to say you can't get stuff on a raw vegan diet, or you can't get everything you need, or the people that are always chasing or think that they have a very narrow path, like, well, you can only do this, and if you do this, this is bad, blah, 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 blah. I just tend to think that as humans, it's not designed to be that complicated. And, people tend to worry more or even like throw shade at people when they're eating a raw vegan diet. Like, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. But where you people live, I know where I live, and I know airports I've flown through in the last 10 years and different areas I've been around. Do you see the average person walking around out there? They're not the picture of health. So why are people not worried about, well, nobody seems to worry about anybody that eats, goes through the drive-through at Wendy's 2 or 3 times a week, or brings home a big thing of KFC. Nobody ever worries and like, oh, now where are you getting your nutrition? Where are you getting this and that? It's only when you start actually eating some fruit and vegetables and, kind of trying to get all the things you need to where people say, oh, well, that's crazy. Even though most kids think about it when you were a kid, like your mom trying to make you eat the vegetables, then you go vegan, you're eating too many vegetables. So anyhow, that's neither here nor there. The main thought of that one is to do your own research and make your own decisions. And watch out for those false prophets in the raw vegan world. Watch out for who you're following. I would recommend don't follow anybody. Watch a lot of different stuff, but don't follow anybody. Don't have one person as your, ooh, that's my person. I listen to everything they say. I do everything they say. That's not how I did. And I'm doing pretty good after 10 years without a guru, so maybe you can too. So the new health focus for me, which is not really new, I've talked about it before, I guess I'm just taking it a little bit further and focusing on it a little bit more, and that's the breath, and that's breath work. I kind of fell into one of those weekends that was similar to when I went raw vegan, when I just stumbled onto some information on raw vegan, and I just watched videos and read and looked up stuff the whole weekend. Well, I did a similar deep dive on breathing this past weekend, and I had heard of this book before. I've heard people recommend it before, but I listened to a couple of podcasts where the author James Nestor was the guest. And I listened to a lot of other stuff too, different things on pranayama. Sadhguru, if you ever watched Sadhguru on YouTube, he had some good stuff on there. Now, I think I talked about in the past, like extending my breath work practice. Well, I haven't really extended it. I just kind of took a step back, and I decided over this past few months, I wanted to keep building that base. I've been meditating, but for me, meditation and breath work go so hand in hand, because when I'm meditating, my breath just naturally gets rhythmic and slows down. So for the past 10 months, I think July will be a year, I've been just focusing on the in and out, like long, slow breaths through the nose, in and out, just like that. And there's so much benefit even in that. As I've mentioned before, just the most very beginning foundation of any meditation practice, or a breath-based meditation practice, is just realizing you're breathing in and realizing you're breathing out. And just the realization there, you don't necessarily try to lengthen or shorten your breath. It just kind of falls into that longer phase. Well, I got into reading a little bit. I just started this book. And some of the things I saw this weekend, that there's different breath work, there's different processes, and there's a lot of healing value in those. Some of the things I saw almost made me think like probably so, that the breath is equally or maybe more important than the food that we're putting into our body. And it went real way back on kind of the development of man, and like how our breath has affected our physical over the past several thousand years, I suppose. So like long and short of it is, and that's what I'm really starting to work on now, is breath retention and longer exhales than your inhale. Now, when I say breath retention, I'm not trying to do any free diving or anything, or where I'm trying to hold my breath for 4 or 5 minutes yet, but we'll see where that goes. I do remember a buddy of mine, God, this has been about 10, 12 years at least ago now. He went to the Bahamas, and within a week he did this course where he could learn to hold his breath, and he was going down underwater for like 3 or 4 minutes. But for me, it's just more for the health value of it and for the breath work. So just like steady inhale, holding it for a bit, and then a longer exhale. One right now, I think it's Dr. Andrew Whale, and I've seen a number of people speak about the 4-7-8 technique, and that's basically where you're inhaling for a 4 count, you hold it for a 7 count, and then you slowly exhale it for an 8 count. And this is this just like it engages that parasympathetic nervous system. It really lowers the heartbeat quickly. And you know, basically, if you've anybody that maybe hear me talking about this for the first time, or hearing anybody talk about breath for the first time, just correlate it. Think about yourself. Anytime you've been anxious, scared, angry, whatever, your breath becomes rapid and shallow. And you know, just by slowing that down, you can slow down your emotions, you can slow down the anxiety in your body. Just so many helpful tools to it. But there's also a lot of health benefits to it that like I say, I'm just scratching the surface on. So that's what I'm not, when I say I'm moving on, I'm not like stopping anything about how I'm eating. It's just that I think that's going to be more of my focus now for myself personally. But I'm going to definitely keep sharing videos on food, but I hope to share more of these. And I'll share more on my Facebook page too. I think I've mentioned that before. It's just Raw Tropical Living on Facebook, but it's the page, not the group. The group's been inactive for quite some time. I might get it going again sometime, but it's the page. If you have to ask permission to get into it, it's not the right one. Just like my page, and I'm going to be sharing more there. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you here again at the end of the week. Peace.